I'm Sandra Nardoni, and this is Homeopathy First Aid for Seasickness and Motion Sickness. Welcome. I really wanted to do this one at the beach, but it was so windy the days that I was there that it didn't really work out. So I am back in Indiana, and I am dreaming of the ocean. As you may imagine, as an ocean lover, I love cruises. In fact, one of the reasons that I still have my certificates for being a travel agent is because I really want to be able to organize cruises for my family and friends. You get it all on a cruise for one price. And when you show up, pretty much your whole vacation is already paid for. I think it takes the stress out of traveling. You also only have to unpack once, but you get to experience a sampling of several different destinations, which is also a big draw for me. However, the one thing that can really ruin a cruise, or any vacation for that matter, is motion sickness, seasickness if you're cruising. What a bummer to be surrounded by fun and be stuck in your cabin holding onto the toilet. Ugh. But if you love the idea of cruising and are too afraid to try it because of seasickness, I have the perfect homeopathic solution. I want to tell you a little story about my sweet mama first, though. So my mom is a big fan of the mountains. When we were kids, in spite of the fact that my parents were both teachers and we had no money, they saved up 4 times to take us to the mountains. And not just any mountains, the big ones, the Rockies and the Tetons. We spent 4 wonderful vacations wandering about in the Tetons, exclaiming over geysers in Yellowstone and enjoying pretend cowboy shootouts in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I remember my mom being so excited to go and so happy once we got there, but the journey was rough for her. Those mountain passes left her clutching her stomach and waiting for her chance to open up the door and expel the contents of it. Ugh. She was always miserable for at least a third of our trips. It was so sad because she loved the mountains. She loved them so much. So a couple of years ago, when my brother and I decided to take her back to the mountains that she hadn't seen in nearly 35 years, she was cautiously excited. However, her tendency to get motion sickness hadn't really gone away. And now she was 76 years old, so it would be worse at her age, right? And that is where homeopathy came to her rescue. I encouraged Mom to take Nux Vomica 200C twice daily as we headed out on our journey. She was incredulous, but she did it, and we struck out on her big adventure. After all, this vacation was all about her. So on the 3rd day, we hit the Badlands and started into true mountainous terrain. She kept commenting about how good she felt, but she was still a bit nervous about the 4th day, when we would hit the real mountain passes. So the 4th day came, and Mom laughed and talked and really saw the mountains, probably for the first time in her life, because she never got sick. Even the elevation sickness that typically hit her hard only mildly affected her for a few brief hours one afternoon, deep into our 17-day trip. And truth be told, it was because she'd been feeling so good, she had forgotten to take her Nux Vomica. Mom was even able at one point to sit in the back seat of the car. That never happens, really, not even in flat Indiana. And the funny thing about this whole story is Nux Vomica isn't even my first choice for motion sickness, but I forgot to order my favorite one, and so Nux Vomica was my backup medicine that I just happened to have in the house before we left. So back to the education part of this. If you struggle with seasickness, there is one medicine that typically tops them all, and it's actually made from a common substance that I'm sure that you've probably heard of, tobacco. It's called tobacco, and it can be taken in the 6C or the 30C potency for seasickness. And as I mentioned in my story, Nux Vomica 200C can also be super helpful in these same situations. For those of you who struggle when flying in an airplane, there's actually a combo medicine that is super helpful called AAA. It's a combo of 3 homeopathic medicines that actually pack a powerful punch when it comes to the combination of air sickness and anxiety that can plague some travelers. You can get it through Helios in the UK, and sometimes you can find it on Amazon. Finally, if your primary symptom involves dizziness, you can try Veritrum Album 200C. It is wonderful for vertigo that results in nausea. Well, folks, that's all for today. I hope this little nugget has really helped you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.